Right, book vlog for today. Oh, I'm in the living room. Got myself a cup of Darjeeling, which is really good. And it looks like the Indian summer is over. It's dark and cold. I'm having to sit indoors with lights on. So this is me until next spring, I guess. This will be me in here with my books. So I usually start sitting here with this one. I mean, this is what I'm reading right now. I'm doing all right. I'm really enjoying it, actually. It's a good book. Another 5 or 6 days should get me through that. So I'll read a chapter of that. It's All the Kremlin's Men by Mikhail Zygar. And it's very journalistic. Mikhail Zygar is a journalist and was, I don't know if he's one of the founders, but he certainly worked at the TV station called Rain. I think it got shut down after the Ukraine invasion, so yeah, that gives you an idea of where his politics are. But it feels very factual, the book, and I'm learning a lot from it. I mean, I've read a few books about Putin, but this one, I'm getting more, so it's really good. I'm looking forward to getting through more of it. And once I've done that, then I'll read today's chapter of War and Peace, which I'm reading as part of a read-along with Simon Heisel. And we're into the final book, I think, like 1,050 pages in, so it is a big book, yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is me trying a vlog thing. I want to do more of this because I really love watching Emmy and I love watching Caroline Reed's. I think book vlogs are a good way for me to get more used to making content and get comfortable in front of the camera. I mean, not that I'm not comfortable, you know, but I want to get more loose. Do you know what I mean? Get more of my personality into my videos and use more of my gear. I mean, this is a gimbal I've got this camera on, which I've had for a while and used for a different channel. I've never really used it for vlogging. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So I'm going to go through today. I'll maybe vlog for the rest of the day, doing bits and pieces here and there, talking about what I'm reading and kind of what my routine is. Although my routine's a bit different today because I've got some appointments, but I mean, that is part of the routine, I suppose, isn't it? So yeah, these two books will start me off, and then I'm going to go and sit over at my desk behind me and do some writing. I write morning pages every day. I love fountain pens, I love inks, I love good stationery, so that's something I've had a habit of doing for quite a long time now, and I put them up at camscampbell.com, which is a way for me to, I think, to connect and to accountability. Maybe that's part of it, I don't know. What I like to show is that I can maintain my mental health, keep it above the line, so to speak, by this great habit that I've built up over time. So that's what that's about. And then I want to do more writing. I've got some catching up to do because I run a book group where we're reading Crime and Punishment, a chapter a week, and I've been slipping on it. Resistance has got in the way, which then brings on a feeling of guilt, which is not good for mental health. So yeah, I want to kind of see if the light's better this way. Maybe you get to see all the mess behind me. That's the thing. Yeah, the guilt isn't good, so I don't know where the resistance to that's coming from, because it's something I really wanted to do, and so I did it and I started it going and it was going well, and then just the last month, I think, it's become a heavy lift. At one point I was doing 2 essays a week when I started, because I started it on the story graph, and then I moved it over to Substack because it's a much better platform. and because it had been like 3 months, I think, 2 or 3 months, I can't remember, but when I moved it over to Substack, I decided to start again and try and encourage some new subscribers to come along with me, and as I say, it's kind of stalled a bit, so I want to reboot that in my own head and get it going again and start to get excited about it again. And then the same thing with the Odyssey. I've been following Ted Joyer's list. Ted put out a list of books, music and art as part of a 1-year humanities course, and I decided I was going to start a book group to follow that, which I did do because I wanted to follow it myself, and I thought having a book group would be a good way of getting conversations going and for accountability. And I haven't really kicked it off properly yet, and I really want to, so that should be today's goals. So a little bit of reading and then lots of writing. Right, off we go, let's get into it. That was a gripping chapter. We're in 2014, January, Winter Olympics, and all the stuff in Ukraine's going down at the same time. Putin's flying about, there's international stuff happening. Yanukovych gets overthrown. It's the coup d'etat. And it's just a gripping time of history, really. And Willow's come to say hi, as she does. Hello, Willow. You saying hi to my viewers? Yes, of course you are. Because I've just started filming, so why would you not want to be on? Of course, of course. So I've got this line here, which, if Willow will allow it, I've underlined. This is a description of Yanukovych's dacha, in inverted commas. A 140 hectare complex called Mezhihiria, and on there we have a 5 metre high perimeter fence in which is a marina, a zoo, an equestrian club, an archery range, tennis courts and hunting grounds. In February, after the overthrow of Yanukovych, the opposition rebels found on the grounds of the complex a collection of retro cars and a gold paperweight in the form of a baguette, among other things. Crazy, isn't it? And then it goes on to discuss the Victoria Newland and John McCain, the senators who came over, were handing out food on Maidan Square to the protesters. And of course, the conspiracy theorists would have you believe that this whole Ukrainian coup was at least supported by, if not instigated by, the West. I don't really have an opinion on that. I like to read the facts. I haven't read enough, really, I don't think. I've watched some of the conspiracy stuff and it seems a bit, plausible. It seems plausible. I suppose we'll find out at some point. Documents get released, maybe in 70 years' time, much as we're learning about the 1917 October Revolution. Right now, the documents have been released. So it turned out that Russia did win the Olympics. They got more gold medals than any other country. There was a showdown between Russia and the US in a hockey game where the American referee disallowed a goal that Russia had scored, and we ended up with a draw, and then Russia lost on penalties. So that was something I didn't know about. And the whole thing of Yanukovych fleeing his residence, he headed to Kharkiv. He wasn't allowed to board the plane to Russia, so he ended up going to Crimea, where he was picked up by a helicopter and taken to Russia. I should probably read some more about Ukraine. I would like to do that. So that's my All the Kremlin's Men chapter for today. I'm now going to read a little bit of War and Peace, have breakfast, and do some writing. Right, it was a good wee writing session. The upshot of it is that it energises me to film and to write, to connect to source, which is really what I'm kind of all about. I think that the creative act is a way of improving one's mental health by connecting to source and then just seeing what comes out, because you know, I've turned on the camera here, I don't know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to film it because what I've said here is that I need to get over that resistance and into being creative, because it's good for me, and that even if what I film is pish, I don't have to use it. I can practice this bit, I can practice the gear, and then I can practice the editing and hopefully make something that's interesting. This is what I do every day as I sit here. I was sitting outside to do this whenever possible, but we're kind of getting beyond that, I think, now, weather-wise. I don't think there are going to be many more days this year. I mean, don't say never, but, you know, we are getting into autumn. Yeah, we just passed the equinox. So, as much as I love sitting outside, I also love sitting here. I don't want to disrespect this space because it is a very creative and beautiful space that I enjoy. So, get my light on, pick up my notebook, pick up my pen. It's Waldmann Edelfeder, and today I'm using Delamere Green? No, Delamere Green from Diamine. I'm just getting the hang of the name because I only just opened it yesterday. So I've written my pages. I'm going to take photos of them, put it up on my website at camscampbell.com, also on Substack at substack.camscampbell.com, because that's where I post my pages. For some reason it makes me more likely to do it if it's going out somewhere. And so it's basically like a daily check-in with my audience. So I enjoy it, it gives me joy, and I did say here that admin, travelling, appointments and chores they tend to take over. So as a freelance, as a solo, not freelance, I'm not working for anyone but myself, as a solo content creator, writer, filmmaker, book reader, it's difficult sometimes to make the time to do the thing you want to do because of all the stuff you don't want to do. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you had a job, if I had a job, I'd have to go out, say at 9, and come back, say at 5, and then fit all the chores in, and then there just would not be any time for anything. So I'm grateful. Gratitude. Yes. I'm grateful that I get to spend some time every day being creative. It's not as much as I would like, and I tend to complain about that a lot, when what I should be doing is be grateful. I should be grateful for the time that I do have to do this. So that's coming about just through talking to you on camera. That gratitude is the name of the game, not dissatisfaction. Okay? Message to myself and to you that the creative act lifts my soul, connects my soul to the higher power, and I'm grateful for that. So that's where I've got to. Well, that was good. I tried a different thing with Crime and Punishment to break me out of my rut, get over the resistance, you know, War of Art. That teaches you about how to get through resistance. Crime and Punishment, I'd stalled, you know, I'd reached a place where I didn't know how to carry on. So instead of my usual format, which is to read the chapter, take some notes, and then go through the chapter in a Substack post, I recorded a video as I was going and just spoke into the camera. And I just went through to make a cup of coffee and I was feeling energised. Energised. And this is what happens when I make videos and I talk, connect. Somehow it energises me and makes me feel capable and qualified. Which is good, because when I'm sitting on the sofa over there and I'm like, oh, I'm not imposter syndrome and all that stuff, you know, that gets in the way. I'm sure all you creators out there understand exactly what I'm talking about. So I made a little note or two of who's in the chapter. I'm going to have to write something and come up with something about translation, because that's one of the features of my Substack. So I'm going to have to pick out a passage. So normally I would have these all written down, but I haven't. So I'll need to pick out a passage to go into my spreadsheet, my comparison spreadsheet, and then get all the other translations off the shelf and see how they have rendered the same passage to put it out as a comparison. So that's what I'll be doing. I'm going to make a cup of coffee, have some Greek yogurt with grapes and nuts, and then crack on with that, because I want to get this out today. I got my Crime and Punishment essay out. It wasn't quite an essay, it was a video, so I tried to break the block, the resistance, because I'd missed a week for the second time. So I put out a video, and I'll see if that helps me to get through the block, and to be creative and not slip. So that was a good achievement. I felt good about that. And then at night I read Inanna. Went to bed with this amazing book, and I finished it this morning. Sitting right here. Finished it, put my AirPods in. Yeah, read the immersive way. Book in hand, AirPods in, listen to Zara Jane Nakwi's amazing narration. And now I'm looking at Snow Crash, because this is the book that led me to Inanna, because it talks about the Nam Shelba Venki, and ancient Sumer as a linguistic phenomenon. And of course, Inanna's all about that, as is the sequel, Gilgamesh. Am I going to go straight into it? I think I am, you know. I think so. Now is the time for the gods of war. So, that's my book vlog for yesterday. I'm just finishing it off. Will I do weekly ones? I think maybe weekly ones would be best. Need to come up with a format for this, but yeah, getting loose. Getting loose. That's what it's about. So, that's what I'm going to do. Cheers.